Welcome back to Let's Play Quantum Break. I'm BurningDogFace. And here's what's going on. Last time I did a session of this game, I wanted to end it by setting things up so that all I had to do was walk into the time machine at the beginning of the next session. But of course, things didn't work out that smoothly, and as soon as I entered the date into the machine, it started a whole story thing. So I cut the episode off, abruptly, as I'm sure you noticed. And the next time around, I did an introduction explaining, the situation that wasn't completely unlike this one, actually. And then I was planning to work the footage from the end in with a new recording of the cutscene. In order to make sure I had everything, I went and I did the whole pool level over again. So screw it. Here's the footage I got from that. Alright, before we go, let's just,
That's a lot to take in, isn't it?
Well, I stopped trying to make sense of all this around the time that you started teleporting.
Yeah, still trying to figure that one out myself. No.
What?
God damn it. I don't know. We were so close. I'm gonna try it again.
Yeah, like hell you are. You saw what happened. Something's wrong with the machine.
We don't know that.
You're not trained for this. Anything you do is gonna make it worse.
We
You
can't.
know I'm right.
Stop trying.
You lost people. You're angry. I get it. But this is bigger than us. We can't fix the machine. But I might know somebody who can. Sophia Amaral.
The Monarch scientist. I saw her video near Ground Zero.
Serene's head of Cronin Research. She'll be at the Monarch Gala tonight, but security's airtight. She'll be nearly impossible to get to.
Unless I have an invite. Paul told me he expected me to meet him at that party.
Something tells me that was not a friendly invitation. Jack, no.
Oh, would you look at that? That was actually around the spot where I told it to skip. Thought there'd be more to that cutscene, but apparently not. Oh, actually, before I move on, it turns out that Amy had one more thing to say, as I discovered this time. So here's her extra comment.
I think we're ready.
Wait, we're actually gonna run this thing? Really? Are you sure that this isn't exactly an easy-bake oven? Maybe we should start by finding the instruction manual?
You honestly think that's gonna help?
Probably not, which is all the more reason to avoid this. I mean, have you ever seen the movie The Fly? I do not want to be the Jeff Goldblum of this story.
Okay, so that went pretty well. But then I, got into the next segment, and I was about 10 minutes in, wanted to cut it off and make a jump cut, and I discovered my program wouldn't stop recording, under any circumstances. And when I killed it through the task manager, that corrupted the footage because it was still technically recording. And since I had gotten started very, very late in the day, and because I'd had a lousy few days before that, I said fuck it, which led to an impromptu day off. That one video of Race the Sun explaining it, and a session of Ziggurat, so I could recenter myself. But let's get back into the story. It led to this junction section. Personal/business. I don't know exactly what that means, but I don't like this ominous description. Faced with Jack's surrender, Serene has to choose whether to focus on his friendship with Jack, or his plans for Monarch. Except, fuck me in particular, apparently, because, the game crashed and it was trying to load the next level. Jesus.
The future used to be so clear when I was reliving the past. Once I caught up to the moment I had left, that ended. All I've had to go on since then are the plan and the visions. I knew Jack would come to me. I'd seen that, but I didn't know why exactly, or how it would end.
There he is. You were right.
My visions of the future aren't always clear, but they don't lie.
Speaking of lies, Joyce is saying he's discovered his brother's time machine.
We've spent 17 years looking for it, and he finds it in less than a day?
Does sound unlikely.
Still, we know it's out there somewhere, and we don't know what his brother managed to tell him.
If he really has located the machine, why would he come here and tell you? Smart Money says he's trying to play you.
Maybe, but the machine is out there. It's in our interest to find out where.
And then it crashed on this loading screen, so I don't even know if you guys are going to hear this fucking part. I mentioned the first time that I'm pretty sure those pre-rendered cutscenes are used to cover loading screens.
If Jack knows, I have to talk to him.
Well, that's better. Which is why I think the frame rate dips for no reason sometimes.
Dr. Joyce could have provided the answer to that question.
Doing that.
William's attitude and knowledge made him a liability.
Is that angry young man going to cooperate any more than his brother did? You remember Jack as a close friend, but that clouds your judgment. Don't make this personal.
It's not.
Then don't forget why we're here tonight. After what happened, our people need reassurance that we're in control. You're the man who could win them over. Let me handle Joyce, so you can concentrate on your speech.
I know what's at stake here, Martin.
So there's only one collectible in this area, and it's this email right here.
Dr. Sophia Amaral had taken over our Chronon research department after Dr. Kim's accident. She was the only one who could treat the Chronon syndrome.
Mr. Joyce is waiting for us down below.
So I'll just, jump in here and take a look at it. Okay. Starting with to Sophia Amaral from Erica Cross, date October 6, 2016, 9:18 p.m. Subject, what happened to Dr. Henry Kim? Sophia, I realize this may not be a welcome question, but I feel like I need to ask. I knew Henry Kim very well. I went to school with him, and he was actually my husband's best man for my first marriage. Unfortunately, when I moved down to Florida, we didn't manage to stay in touch. Let's just say that life took me into unexpected directions. It was a very welcome surprise to hear from him when he was recruiting new people, and I'm glad to say we hit it off again. We spoke on the phone a lot, he came over to meet my wife, and, well, it was like old times. It could have been awkward, but it wasn't. Henry was like that. You can imagine my shock and disappointment when I heard about his death just a week before my own employment at Monarch began. We didn't get to work together the way I'd hoped. Now, Monarch has been very good to me, but his death has been eating at me. I know it's something people don't want to discuss, and I understand that there are confidentiality issues. However, having recently been cleared for some of the more sensitive Chronon research, I now know that the story of his death is a fabrication, and Henry has become something entirely different. I'm not blaming anybody, but for my own peace of mind, or sense of closure, I suppose, I'm wondering if, given my new security clearance, you are in a position to explain how this came to pass. I should add that I brought this up with Martin Hatch the other day, and he made it clear in no uncertain terms that I should drop the matter. Given that, I'm taking something of a chance talking to you about this, but I feel like I can't let this go. I'll understand if you aren't allowed to discuss it, but I'm more than a little scared and upset. I hope I can rely on your discretion either way. Erica. Nice to see some bisexual representation in media. And the response from Sophia Emerald on October 7th, 1:40 p.m., seems like unless she happened to come in late that day, she spent some time thinking about this before she actually responded. Erica, first of all, my condolences and apologies. I didn't realize you had a history with Henry, and frankly, I would not have promoted you into this position had I known. If you'd be more comfortable working on something else, I can make that happen, no questions asked. To be clear, I'm not talking about a demotion. I mean a comparable senior position in another department. You're correct in that it's a very sensitive topic, but given your current security clearance, I can tell you what I know. Unfortunately, I don't know much. For the past 6 months, I myself have been trying to work out what happened, but I haven't made much progress. I know Henry was working late in his lab, and there was some kind of a chronon particle surge. Of course, we know that exposure to large quantities of chronon particles can result in physical changes. Paul Serene is an example of that. His first exposure resulted in his extraordinary abilities, and the second exposure caused his progressive condition. In Henry's case, that exposure transformed him into a chronon-disrupted wave-function subject, or a shifter. Ominous. It is, of course, clear that Mr. Serene's and Henry's conditions are essentially the same thing, even if Mr. Serene's case hasn't progressed as far. Sorry, if I'm understanding this part correctly, Jack doesn't yet have the degenerative chronon syndrome, because he has only been exposed to massive quantities of chronons once. However, it's not at all clear how Henry could have been exposed to such a powerful dose of chronon particles, particularly as the lab area itself underwent none of the temporal changes we have come to associate with such an exceptional event. None of the containers on scene had remotely enough chronon particle capacity for such a high dose, and furthermore, all of them were intact and accounted for. In short, we don't know where these particles could possibly have come from. I'm not surprised that Martin Hatch was unwilling to discuss this. He was the only other person present in the lab when the accident took place, but I don't know why he was there or what happened, and he claims to have no memory of the events. Despite this, Martin somehow managed to contain Henry in the artificial zero-state field set up in the lab. I am unwilling to speculate how this could possibly have happened. So suffice to say that I have many questions about these events myself. Think about my offer, Erica. You're a first-rate scientist, and I would hate to lose you, but I would absolutely understand if you wanted to change departments. Please give my best to your wife. It was lovely to meet her the other week. Sophia. Here's hoping that, I get to keep this footage this time, because that's quite a lengthy email, and, I don't want to have to read it again.
The mansion was an extravagance, but it was useful for events like the gala, and it deflected attention from our nearby R&D facility.
Gull Island, huh? What's up with the desk? Why is it a ragged shape like that?
We should go.
All right, fine. I never understood modern art. The idea of someone being transformed by mad science coming immediately after a reference to The Fly does not fill me with hope. I hate that movie. Oh, we didn't move him to holding. He's literally been waiting here this whole time. Jeez.
What are these doing here? We should be set up by now.
It's all on schedule. You're micromanaging again.
Don't even twitch.
In fairness, the guy's got superpowers, so, you know. I honestly don't blame them for being kind of paranoid.
And here you are.
I had to see the lifestyles of the sick and traitorous up close and personal. And it was such a nice invitation.
How do you want to deal with this, Paul?
So I'm assuming this isn't going to lead to them shooting him. Choose whether you focus on your personal business or the mission. Oh,
Paul, what should we do about Joyce?
why is my car glowing? Alright, let's take a look. Him.
I could still try to reach Jack and make him see reason. Or I could let Hatch deal with him so nothing would distract me from leading Monarch.
I feel like this is too obvious. Clearly it would benefit me as Jack to have him choose personal. So I don't see the drawback. So I'm, you know, kind of flinching as I prepare for the unexpected side effect.
Up into the past. Tried to change things.
Answer me this question, Bo.
I once trusted Jack more than anybody. It was my only chance to make him understand the truth.
The fuck do you mean nobody got a look at the shooter?
But without me there to give the speech, my empire would start to crumble like a house of cards.
I believe that with hope comes miscalculation, and as you and I well aware, Mr. Joyce, with miscalculation can often come catastrophe. And that leaves me with you, Mr. Joyce.
But my old friend would be a lost cause. Dead and buried, along with the rest of my past.
Tonight is a celebration in the face of darkness. Tonight we celebrate because I promise to you that we are prepared.
Monarch would grow stronger with my presence. The plan would go forward as intended.
I believe that with hope comes miscalculation, and as you and I well aware, Mr. Joyce, with miscalculation can often come catastrophe. And that leaves me with you, Mr. Joyce.
But my old friend would be a lost cause. Dead and buried, along with the rest of my past.
Tonight is a celebration.
Well.
A celebration in the face of darkness. Tonight we celebrate because
God damn it! Oh, it's not a choice at all.
With my presence, the plan would go forward as intended.
The first time they've given me the opportunity to actually change things and make it not a set time loop. And that choice will lead to Jack dying. Fuck! Because I've just realized I have to pick personal, even if it weren't for the threat of death, because Serene has had visions where he sits down with Jack and they have a chat. God damn it! Yeah, there's no downside to picking personal for, me as the player. Whereas I die if I choose business. I'm kind of surprised by that. I'm going to go ahead and assume that 100% of players went with this. No, there's always going to be some people who check out the other thing. Let's say like 98%.
Martin, I'm afraid you're gonna have to cover for me at the speech tonight.
All right.
Jack and I have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
I've seen where this leads. I've been to the end of time, and I've escaped it, all the way to 1999, when it all started. I've tried to change things, but by trying, I only made them happen in the first place.
Interesting. I believe it was Sudden Hipleys who wanted me to mention, as opposed to uninvited haggis. Last time it said that he went with PR, not with Hardline over PR, and he told me that was interesting because what he did was he went with the choice he didn't want. When he played the game for the first time, he always went with a choice he didn't want first, and then loaded, through the timeline, and picked the choice he did want, so that he would get both achievements. But when I got to the first junction, it told me he chose Hardline, even though he'd loaded the game, picked PR, and then kept going. So maybe it only picks the first one, and maybe it keeps track of the first one, so you have to be careful about what your choices are, or something. I don't know. Interesting. And again, I feel all right having Serene make this choice, because even in character, he saw the visions where he was talking to Jack. And clearly Jack is important to him, still, even at this point, or he would have just had his guards put a bullet in his head. So, it's not just me picking the one that has the better impact on me. Pardon the abrupt ending, Burning Dog fans. This has been Let's Play Quantum Break, and next time we get into the second live-action episode. Later!